Alrighty, time for another daily. Today we have base and seaside. What's going on here? So there's no trashing, I don't think. Native Village can function as a pseudo trasher if you just set aside cards and never pick them back up again. I don't think there's enough support for that in this kingdom. The main thing that I think is lacking would be a second source of villages. Like if native village is your only village, you don't want to be stuck in a position where you always have to set aside to get your village effect. Otherwise, you'll start setting aside good cards. But if you had like 1 to 2 native villages and then some primary village as your main village, you could selectively play the native villages only when you manage to line it up. For example, you could play sea charts to check the top of your deck and then wait until your sea chart reveals a green card and then play native village, set it aside. In another world, native village could be thinning. I quite enjoy games where that's true. It's not very strong, but it's fun to do. I don't think there's support for that here. So we don't have thinning is a big constraint. There's also no plus buy. There's no reason to ever have more than 8 money in your deck. That is if you're building an engine, which actually might not be certain here. We do have villages in the 4 native village, and there's draw, laboratories draw, sea chart moat or draw. There are gains. Blockade and workshop can gain cheap stuff. Artisan can gain the 5s. I'm kind of on the fence on this one. So there's an engine to be built here. We got draw, we got actions, and there is some amount of payoff. You can't build a double province, really, but you can play an outpost. And if you take 2 turns every turn, that's effectively like a double province if you buy a province on the first turn and on the outpost turn. And then you can also gain duchies of artisan. So the theoretical payoff of 1 turn here is still, I don't know, like 2 provinces and some duchies. The trouble is, I don't think that comes together super quickly, in large part due to the lack of thinning. There's no way to get rid of your starting cards. And so you have to draw through a bunch of junk to make that happen. And money looks not half bad. Pirate's a pretty good big money card. I wouldn't be too surprised if just something along the lines of pirate big money were fast enough to compete with the engine. I think artisan plus outpost together is enough payoff to make building worth it. But I don't think it's a slam dunk for the engine. So how do we do this? I would think early game the goal is to hit 6 at least once. Probably want 2 artisans total, but you want to at least get 1 artisan and start getting some labs. The 2s and 3s are not bad. Like I would happily take a bunch of sea charts and native villages and moats in the deck. So Blockade's probably work. Blockade is in general just a very strong card. I don't know if this is Blockade's best kingdom ever. Like if workshop were the only workshop, I don't know, you'd take a workshop just to gain these. These are good but not amazing. But Blockade's really good at gaining stuff. Just put it straight into your hand. Start next turn. Like workshop with plus card on it. Even better than that, because you get to put it in the hand at start of turn, which is a great time to have an extra card. Blockade silver probably hits 6 fairly often. I think that's the open. Not exactly sure. This is a pretty sad hand. I don't want to take too many silvers, I don't think. So I'm just going to make kind of a nothing buy. I'll want that card later. Uh-oh. This is a very sad draw. Where's my blockade? In contrast to me, the bot has the ideal draw, which is blockade is like most duration cards. It's a card you'd much rather find turn 3 than turn 4. Because you play the blockade turn 3, you get to see whatever card you gained immediately turn 4 within the same shuffle, and the blockade goes back into the same shuffle. Whereas blockade turn 4 even wouldn't be that great because it would miss the shuffle, as would the card that it gains. Blockade turn 5 is, of course, worse than either of those things. Okay, so the bot took blockade, but looks like it's going the pirate money route. Not that surprising. Could I draw my silver, maybe? Nope. I hit 5, which is not so bad. But there's no hitting 6 next turn. Bottom 6 are 3 estates, 2 coppers, and a silver. I guess in theory, if I set aside a silver now, I have a, what's that, a 40% chance to hit 6? I know there's a copper on top. And if I bottom deck an estate, I would get to 6. I don't know if that's worth it. I really don't want a bunch of silvers. Not at all. What happens if I just take a blockade here? I do want blockades. I take a blockade now, I set aside just, I don't know, like a sea chart or something. I don't want to take the gamble. As it turns out, I would have hit 6. Oh, it wasn't 40%. It was 60%. I forgot there's 3 estates. If I bottom deck any of the 3 estates, maybe that was worth it after all. Maybe I should have set aside a silver. The odds are better than I had thought. Alas. Blockade native village. Okay, I'm going to be pretty slow on the draw, it seems. I got a blockade down there, but I also have a native village down there. So this could just be another blockade. Could also be a moat for draw. There are 4 coppers down there. I'm not hitting 6 off of that turn. Take a blockade, hopefully set up for the following turn. Uh-oh, how's a bomb? This is not going well. This is not going well at all. This is going quite poorly. I'm incredibly slow to hit 6. And I bottom deck the blockade again. I'm probably picking that up. See what we draw. Maybe I'm not picking that up after all. I'll set aside first, just in case this sea chart hits a native village. 5 again. This is brutal. This is absolutely brutal. I have 3 blockades, right? Or do I think I have 3 total blockades. I do just desperately want to hit 6 though, so I'm just going to set aside a village and a draw card. I am like 3-4 turns behind on Artisan. And like the Artisan is the precondition getting to the outpost, which is the next step. I could buy an outpost directly, but if my deck can't gain an Artisan, I don't think I'm at outpost point yet. I feel like gaining an Artisan, getting an outpost off the Artisan seems like the proper order of business. Pretty sure that bottom card is junk. Yeah. I've hit 6 at least. Set aside that. Okay, so now the deck is functioning. How am I doing on terminal space? I have more blockades in my deck and an outpost next, or sorry, and an artisan next turn, so I want another village. And we're playing catch up here. I actually haven't looked too closely at what the bot's doing. The bot has at least 1 blockade, I think 2 blockades, and a pirate, and I just got an artisan, which surprises me. The blockade is just a generally good card, so it wouldn't surprise me to put that in a big money deck. Pirate, probably the best big money card in this kingdom. The artisan is a little bit confusing to me. I don't think big money wants to play the artisan all that badly. I mean, against pirates, which I guess is not so bad. But I would think if you're playing artisan, you're building an engine, and if you're building an engine, you're not taking an early pirate. So the bot leaves me a little bit befuddled. Okay, we are drawing. I gotta pick up here because I need the terminal space. I'd love to set aside the estate, but it's just not happening. Actually, no, it is happening because I got a second native village. What am I saying? I found this one, which is good. That's fine. And I can play everything here, which is lovely. I don't think I'm going to have a big tournament outpost turn, most likely. But we can hopefully make something happen with a moat and a native village. I think I said 2 artisans is the number I want. So after this, the goal is to hit 8 and buy provinces. probably ought to pick up here so I can play more of these artisans. I think that's right. Set aside an estate. Do I have a blockade in play? I do. So there's no need to play it before the sea chart. Okay, I can't play both of these unless I gain a native village, which might be worth it actually. Feels a little silly getting it with an artisan, but it makes this hand look a whole lot better. My moat is blocked a blockade. I'm not sure how significant that is. Probably not very important. Oh no, I couldn't have gained a blockade this turn if not for my moat. Okay. Play native village and a moat before I play any sea charts. Set aside, set aside, set aside. What's down there now? A few things. Get lab, set aside. This is coming together. I got 8 in hand, which is sufficient. So let's top deck a lab, I think. Actually, I have no idea what that bottom card is. It's not a copper, an estate. Probably a draw card of some sort. Offense. Has the bot had poor draws? Something's going on when the bot's in. Like, I've definitely been slow on the draw. My early turns were terrible. Turn 11 is really slow for Pirate Big Money to have 1 province. The bot should have like 3 provinces by now. And I was expecting to be in kind of a do or die situation here. But I feel totally alright given the bot score. Let me think about this. I've only got 9 money in my entire deck. It's the coppers plus a silver. I've got 1 copper on the native village match. I have to find all but 1 copper to hit province. And there's a copper on top of my deck. So I think I get these now. Now I'm at 8. Now I can afford to set aside that copper. And top deck a lab. Do I want the duchy? Again, I was expecting to be in the position where I needed to gain like all the duchies because the bot was going to be way ahead on provinces. But it's not really, for some reason. And I don't know why. I did take this weird foray into artisan, but I don't think that could be the main reason, right? So 1 artisan doesn't slow you down that much. Alright, bot's going for duchies now. You do you, bot. It does have some amount of pile pressure. It's got an artisan, it's got a few blockades. These piles are low, and I'll probably be lowering them further. So I should watch out for a pile out, but I have a points lead, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Got a blockade in play. Still need to find that silver. Let's gain another lab, I suppose. There it is. All right, we're good. a duchy. Set aside. Oh, am I just piling out, actually? Yeah, that's probably where this game is going, right? Piling native village sea chart. I could also pile duchies next turn. If I buy a duchy here, I could gain 2 duchies and buy a duchy. I'm just going to take the sea charts. Probably this is going to be the easier pile out. Like, I want to play around the possibility that I dud on my outpost turn. I think just buying province and aiming for this pile out, if I don't dud, is safer than taking a duchy and potentially opening up some sort of duchy pile out. I think probably like 70-80% of the time I get there with all the blockade set aside and the lab top decked. But no reason to take an unnecessary risk. This is a dumb order. I mean, it didn't end up mattering that much, but I should have played a native village in a mode before playing the sea chart. Probably I should play the artisan too. I'm not exactly sure. Like the artisan, on the one hand, it's one more thing the sea chart can hit, but it also puts the card back on top, which when I'm gaining, I guess I'm not getting a victory card here, am I? If I were getting a victory card, it would also make it harder to draw. Okay, well, turn ends here, but this looks like enough, right? Or does the turn end here? The turn goes on. I already had enough to pile the native villages, but now I can pile them with a bonus province. Never did add any additional payload beyond that turn 1. I think it was turn 1 silver. That's all you need if you're drawing your deck. I want to go back and look at the bot's turns. I'm feeling pretty good about the engine right now. Like, obviously this game was a crush. But I was expecting the bot to have more stuff by this point. So I don't know that just in general, engine versus big money is a crush in this kingdom. Why did the bot's turns go so poorly? Okay, so it opens blockade silver. That seems fine. Takes another silver. Yeah, it finds a turn 3 blockade, buys a pirate turn 4. All that seems okay. It does hit 4, which is not a great number for anything in this kingdom. Beyond like turn 1. Turn 6 blockade. Its pirate appears to miss the shuffle. Takes a province turn 7. Buys a gold. Buys a gold. Hits 7 here. 7. Because the bot's hitting the kind of the awkward number for big money, which is like 7 kind of consistently. And it did have the slow pirate. So yeah, I'd say these are pretty weak draws from the bot, all in all. The turn 3, turn 4 went totally fine, but then they had a series of poor draws after that. Bottom decking the pirate hitting 4 a bunch when it owned the turn 3 you would have wanted to add a pirate, and then hitting 7 a bunch when they would have been wanted by province. So probably on average, the big money deck has a few more provinces by this point. But again, like I feel like if they had 2 more provinces, I probably still would have been totally fine. Like I didn't need to end the game when I did. I easily could have taken additional duchies and bought provinces. I think I'm pretty confident in saying the engine is better on average, but there's probably some non-negligible chance that pirate money with a good draw beats engine with a bad draw.